All right, there we go. My
Okay.
dog on sit. And girl, we had some technical difficulties.
Okay, okay. You see my light? Look at me.
I see your light. I see your light. I'm trying to fix my little stuff now.
Oh, I don't have my little thing on my neck. I guess I need to.
See, look, see, that's right there.
That's old people though. I keep trying to tell
You know,
everybody who's watching
it's
us.
downstairs.
Keep in mind that I forget stuff.
All right, the hair is whipping.
Yes, hunty.
Yes, ma'am. The hair is saying I'm doing what I need to do. That's what the
Okay,
hair is
gotcha.
saying.
So does that volume sound better?
Yeah,
Okay, good. Good, good, good. We're gonna wait
yeah.
on a couple more peeps and then
John.
we're
Oh,
going.
somebody. All right. How does lighting look? How does light look? I need to go
Great.
a little brighter.
No, it's good.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go. I got company.
You always have company.
You can't see
You and
all
your
the time.
yes, son.
Me and my peoples.
Right. Right, right.
All right. All right. All right. Wait. What time is it?
So it's
AP.
6 o'clock. We can get started. I mean, we can wait for right now. We have a
Because
few viewers.
you giving me 1974 Miss Ross. Miss Ross with the hair, honey. The
Girl,
boss, Miss Ross.
you know. Look. Let me fling it like she used to. Because you know how she used to fling it.
Then we just fling it. Said
Yes,
somebody give me
indeed.
thumbs
Huh?
up. Thumbs up on the hair.
Right, right. We gotta
Thumbs
make
up
sure
on the
she's
hair.
good. I'm trying to bring it down so you can see my shirt.
Oh, mine says self love.
Oh, yes, self love.
Self love. That's what
Mine,
I'm.
mine says 100 steps for justice.
Okay, I like that one. I like
Yes,
that one.
this is so my church did a campaign, and we actually, uh, we came on, it was a campaign we committed to doing 10,000 steps, and it was a fundraiser for BLM. So that is where my t-shirt comes from.
I like it. I like it.
Isn't that
So what that
cool?
like, what it goes with the theme.
Yes,
100% for justice and self love. How
yes,
about that?
honey. That's it.
All
You got
day.
you got
All
to
day.
be in. You got to have self love. It's a must.
All day.
It's
Well,
a
look,
must.
seems like I got some co-hosts
I see. Look,
that
I haven't seen
decide
Cornflake in
that
forever.
decide that they want to join me on this live. I don't know why.
Hey, Cornflake. Hey, look at the little feisty one. Oof, that one.
we running behind big dogs and stuff and
that.
everything. Girl,
Mm-mm.
let me
Mm-mm.
let me tell you. Let me tell you. Um, First of all, you ready to get started?
We can go ahead and jump on in, baby.
Let's
It's
get
six
it.
oh it's 6:02, so I think we can do it. We can do it.
Let's get
let's
let's get
let's get
started. Let's
let's
get
get
let's
let's
get
get
started.
started. Let's get okay.
All
so
right.
that
AP, introduce yourself.
I am Angela D. Peterson. For those who don't know me, I am on Instagram as Angela D. Peterson. I am a personal life coach. I'm actually a professional life coach, certified. I specialize in success. That's the goal, to teach people how to manage their careers. If you're looking for new career choices, that's what I do. And I am joined today with
Inzuri.
it's like,
I
what
was
did
a
I
little
do?
look. I was looking at my people. I'm sorry. I am Inzuri. I am a spiritual life coach. I'm also certified. I'm also um, a counselor, and uh, I'm losing my train of thought. I'm so sorry, y'all, because I got a little distracted right quick. I'm also a counselor, and my thing is relationships. About relationships, everything, how people relate to each other, how couples my thing is actually couples relationships and different things like that. I apologize for my distraction because it's not the time to be disturbed. Ain't got no business. And yeah, I'm all about the couples. I'm all about the family, the relationship, the husband, the wife, the marriage. I'm also about spirituality. Me and Angela both into spirituality. I am a spiritual person. That's what I do. I got some other stuff that come with me, but I'll discuss that later. Maybe in another thing we get on that topic. But you can always go to my YouTube page. I'm also an entrepreneur. I have a bake. My husband and I have a bakery, and yeah,
Yes.
that's it.
So
And
we are two girlfriends that come together for candid conversations. We basically together every other week we get together and do what is called for us our mind, body, and soul, where we do a girlfriend check-in. And that was prompted by certainly not the show that's on now because we've been doing it for a long time, but it was prompted by just making sure that we do we were concerned for like a story that we had heard on Instagram or seen on Instagram, and decided to check in with each other, just do a mental check-in and make sure that we were good and just really have candid conversations. So, and we thought that with us talking every day, we decided that we should be sharing. We should be, providing this information or the conversations that we have, sharing them with other people. And voila, here you have it, us live on Instagram. So that's kind of how it all got started. You said, what are we talking about today, girl? What are we talking about?
Oh, let me tell you. Well, here's the thing. My husband and I had this conversation.
Okay.
And my production team felt like my light wasn't bright enough.
Okay.
And they came and turned it up, which is my daughter. So I don't know what's going on with the lighting today, but so maybe that's it. My husband and I was talking, and I don't know what we was watching, but he asked a question. It was about if a man doesn't want a child, but of course, people going to date and they still going to engage in sex, and he's still using he's being really responsible with making sure that he wear his protection every time. And the young woman also knows, just by getting to know each other, that that's something that he does not want, which is children. So the question is, because even though you can protect yourself, sometimes things do happen, and a pregnancy can happen.
Right.
So my husband asked the question of, I don't know if it was on, I don't know what we was watching, but it was to the point to where if a woman gets pregnant and she know that the man doesn't want children, this man was being very responsible, and she gets pregnant and he tells her, well, I don't want children, and she says to him that I am keeping it. Is he still responsible to take care of that child?
Wow.
That's the question. Should he still be responsible to take care of that child, even though he just don't want it? He's been responsible. He's been responsible, and it happened.
Whoa, that's a tough one, because I do believe I think that if they have had that conversation and about him not wanting a child, and he's doing what he's supposed to do responsibly, to not get her in a situation, or himself actually. Someone is saying by law, yes. And another person is saying, yes, he should. But, I think that it is, I think that if they've had the conversation, this is just off the cuff, if they've had the conversation and he's expressed to her that he's not interested in having kids before this transpires and a slip up happens, I think that I don't think morally a person would actually not take care of their child, but I do believe that because he was responsible and he actually stated verbally, and they had an agreement that was the case, then it is something that I think he should have a say in. It should be something that he can say yay or nay to, because it was definitely a discussion that was had, and a mistake happened. Now, what do I think about it with respect to just, the human side of it? And as people, we all know that legally, if she goes down to put the man on child support, he is going to be responsible for that. But the question is, from a woman's perspective, how do you feel if a guy comes to you and says, I did what I was supposed to do. I told you I didn't want to have kids, and I wore a condom. How did this happen? We all know, just as we are taught in school, that it could happen,
yeah, I got one in the room right now.
So it's one of those things where you just gotta, I definitely believe that by him saying that, she should consider his, how he feels. But if she says, I want a child, he says, I don't, and he's done everything that he can do.
Russell Wilkins said, well.
Yeah.
Russell Wilkins said, well, I don't know what that means.
That means, well, oh, well. You know what I mean? That's what that means, I'm pretty sure. Well, oh, well.
Well, let me say
it. What is your thought?
My thoughts are, at what point do men have rights?
Mm-hmm.
Because on the flip to that, if a woman gets pregnant and say, I don't want the baby, she will make the choice. Should she have the decision to get rid of the baby without the man's consent?
Yes.
So why is it when it's the man who say, hey, look, I told you I didn't want no kids.
Right.
So why is it when it's the other way around that, okay, you should still be responsible, when it's the woman who says, oh, dang, I didn't want any kids, and the man say, no, I want it. Mm-hmm. So at what point does he have rights?
That's a great point. You know what? That is a good point, because a great point that I didn't even consider, because you're absolutely right. Typically, when a woman gets pregnant, we all tell her that it's her body and she has a right to choose. But at what point does it really become, at what point is there a cutoff? And when does he have a right to choose? Like, if he's done the responsible thing and he's worn the protection and she's gotten pregnant, then at what point, or if even in the case where she says that, because you got women who will tell a man that she is, using birth control, and she ends up getting pregnant. And so what do you do in that case? At what point does a man have a right to say, I actually expressed that I didn't want children. I was doing the responsible thing by wearing a condom, not for the purpose of just having sex, but just protecting myself, period. And then you get pregnant and you try to hold me accountable for that. So he should actually be responsible. I mean, she should actually take his what he had said into consideration too. And as women, we can be. You got some women out there that are
ruthless, vicious. They don't care, because now look. Let me tell you something. I asked a question to my son, and he was like, his thoughts were, he couldn't walk away from her.
Yeah, absolutely.
He couldn't walk away from it because he was taught that, hey, you make it, because anytime you have sex, it's a possibility the person could get pregnant or whatever it is like that. But there are some men and women that have been strategically careful in making sure and doing every precaution that they can not to get pregnant, and then been doing, let's say, from the time they started having sex to, let's say, 36.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. You know what I'm saying? That's great, because it seemed like every time I sneezed, I got pregnant.
Okay, but you and me both.
So that's great. That means that they were responsible. So he said that, first of all, he said his parents wouldn't allow him to walk away. I said, you doggone right about that. but that's a tough one.
That is a tough one. It's a tough one
that is a
because
tough one.
I tend to lean towards I don't, I don't believe that, a man who is a real, if a real man would actually walk away from that scenario. But I do know that when you make a choice to have,
You
sex with an individual,
froze. Oh,
if you
there
get
you
into a
go.
sexual relationship with an individual, when you get into a sexual relationship with an individual, then you should be having those types of conversations, period. Like at the
Yeah.
end of the day, anything can happen. And, just listening, there are so many unfortunate situations where men do get caught up with a female and get her pregnant, and it's not the woman that he would typically choose, because men, they don't, some men just do it just because they can with an individual, and it's not really about a future, it's about that moment. And so the fact that they are having, if you've gotten to that point where you're actually sexually involved, you should have a moral compass, and you should actually be having a conversation with an individual, and hopefully you're not just sleeping around with anyone. You guys should be wanting some of the same things. I'm listening, my daughter's on here and she's responding, and she's like, once people involve themselves in these
Situationships.
knowing that people that they lay down with are not people that they don't have the same, they don't want the same things. And that is so true. You get into these situations and she's fine, she looks good, and you stick it and you move, and she gets pregnant. Look, you put yourself in that position if you don't even know enough about an individual to know what she wants or don't want. I would hope that as a man, if you're going to put yourself in that situation, you would be responsible enough to take on that, be responsible and take on the responsibility. But unfortunately, there are just some people who aren't.
But there's some people that's really adamant about not having children. But at the same time, people are going to have sex.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're going to have sex. So, they say if you if you lay down with a person and if you have sex with them, there's a chance you get pregnant. I get that and I understand that. But like we said earlier, if they're being responsible, mm-hmm. and they've been, purposely responsible to not have this happen, and it happened. I just think that sometimes women, we have to really take some responsibility.
Absolutely.
As well, and we don't as much. Everything is always the blame we always blame the man for example, some women believe that if a woman has custody of the child, the man pays child support.
Mm-hmm.
Some women may feel like if the man has custody of the child, why should she have to pay child support?
Oh, that's a two-way street. And I'm a proponent.
I'm saying some women think so. I think that if the man has full custody, they get paid child support.
Absolutely.
But there's some people that say that the man is wrong for that.
No, wrong how? I mean, tell me, like, how do they justify that? Because at the end of the day, if you can't, so the way the court systems are designed and set up, they're set up for two parents, regardless of whether or not you are in the home. If you've chosen to be separate and live separate lives, whoever the child is with, the other parent has a financial responsibility. For that child. And so,
absolutely.
This brings me to another thing. The women who hold their kids hostage. Like, I'm not going to let you see your daddy because he don't pay child support. What the hell does that have to do with the child? Like, seriously. I mean, I've never been able to understand that, because that's the reason why, especially in our culture and in, there's so many dysfunctional situations, and our kids we have so many issues. And I'm talking about us because I'm us, You know what I mean? But at what point do you really stop holding these children hostage and let them form and have a relationship with their father? I mean, we have so many situations where people actually can call us out about things like that because of the choices that we make. Like, that is, to me, the craziest thing ever. And, you know, I come from a broken home where my parents got divorced, but there was never a time that my mother didn't say to us that we couldn't see our dad. Like, I tell people, well, it wasn't even whenever I wanted, and I always had access to him. So it was never that type of scenario. The unfortunate is these women take these kids and they use them because they're still trying to oh God, the comments. They take these children and they hold them hostage, and then they're not allowing these dads to be an integral part of their lives. And to be honest with you, if the father has the children or the mother has the children, each parent has something to contribute to that child's life.
Absolutely.
And there's nothing that, if I'm a woman, I can't teach my son how to be a man. You know, I don't even know the experience of walking up to the toilet holding myself to use the bathroom. I don't know that experience because I've never had that experience. And though, yes, conceptual, you know, we can actually show our son how to do that, but really, like, we don't know a feeling of a man. I don't know what it feels to have hair growing on my face. I don't know what type of razor you need to actually shave. I don't know what it's like to, I can go outside and throw a baseball with my son and probably be okay at throwing it, but there's nothing like that relationship, that bond that's built between father and son, or father and daughter. You know, so or mother and daughter, or mother and son. So I think that when we talk about you know, those types of things, it's really tough because everybody has their own personal experience, and a lot of us draw from it versus actually doing the right thing, because we tend to do what we've seen our parents do. I've seen so many girls whose mother kept them from their fathers, and they end up being their mother. Like, don't be you're not your mother, you don't have to be. Or you're not your dad, you don't have to be, because he didn't show up and be there for your, you know, you don't have to be your parent. And
absolutely.
So I think, back to the point that we were making about earlier, I think that sometimes what happens in those scenarios is like the case where, you know, does the father does he have a right? It's almost as if it's forced up on him, will he do the right thing? You know what I mean? Like,
and that's the thing.
Will he be the dad that is going to be responsible? You know, it's really interesting, but I don't know. What's your take?
Because think about it. Okay, let's say that he decides, the guy, we go back to the guy who say that he wanted kids. What if he decides, okay, I'll send money for the child, but I don't want to see the child?
Ooh. Why
what
you
about
bringing
that?
up all this stuff? Like, really? Like, who?
That's good. That's a great point, because
yes, it is very good.
So
point. It's very valid.
Should she say, you know, should she, you know, I mean, would that could be considered? I think that she chose to have the baby. It was your decision. He made it very clear to you that this is not what I don't want kids. So, and there are some people who are detached like that, have a detachment to be able to send money to a kid and not be in their lives because they are adamant.
I see it.
Hello?
It came up. It told me I froze.
Oh, okay. So could you still hear me though?
I can hear you.
Okay. So, you know, like I say, some people have their lives mapped out to a T. Mm-hmm. And they ride that wave all the way through. So, you know, hey, she So, and sometimes, in some cases, even though she may say, "Oh, that's cool, just send it." If she has feelings, see, here's another thing women do. If she has feelings for that man, she's still gonna try to find a way to use that child to continue to have that man in her life, and she's gonna give him holy hell, possibly, and through the courts, and she still will find a way. I have something better for you, AP.
Okay.
What if it was a married man?
Oh, and sorry. First of
And
all,
I know a scenario like this, though. I'm bringing it up because I personally know a scenario like this.
Okay.
What if the man is married and the woman knew she was messing with a married man and she gets pregnant for this married man? Should she notify the wife, or should she take responsibility of knowing that she messed with a married man and that she should not interfere with his family?
Should she notify the wife? No, that's not her responsibility. I don't think that she should notify the
So
wife.
should she take full responsibility knowing that she messed with a married man?
Well, here's the thing. Oh, that's a tough one. I definitely believe that. Okay, so let me say this. I think that when a man has a child, period, he should take care of them. That's just my point. But with all the scenarios that are coming up, I think that if you are in a situation, again, knowing that this person did the responsible thing, and he states, yeah, she knew what she was getting into when she got into it. If she decides to not do that, if he says to her, "I don't want the responsibility," I think that it really is not going to, it's really not going to matter. It's almost like Mr. Wiggins is saying on here, well, you kind of went that way, and now you're you're stuck in a situation. The problem with all of this really is the child.
The child is the one that suffers in all of the adult decisions. It's the child.
And that, to me, is, it's sad because as adults, we make those choices to, hey, being sexually involved with a partner, someone that you're seeing and spending time with, that you care about, it is inevitable in this human day and time, this day and time that we live in. The unfortunate is that those things do take place, and we've got someone on here saying that people taking accountability will never happen. Morally, you want to say that he has a right to do that, but the responsible thing for that individual, one of the things that I've heard Steve Harvey say, I'm a big fan of Steve Harvey, and one of the things that I heard him say is, when you lay down with a woman, you have to accept that anything can happen. And
absolutely, I tell that to my sons.
Yeah, you have to accept that. And once you have done that, you are now responsible for what happens next. Because the one thing that I taught my kids growing up is everything in life is a choice. Everything. So when you choose to lay with someone, you are now choosing to possibly be the father of their child, to possibly get some type of venereal disease. You are making those choices. And so to be in a situation, if you've gotten caught in a situation, because that's a situationship for real. Entanglement, someone said. That's definitely an entanglement. And if you're actually...
Are we going back to the entanglement?
That's an entanglement. But if you've done it, the reality of it is the unfortunate is that you are responsible. Legally, you're responsible.
Morally, you should be responsible.
Yeah. And I just think that you are responsible. There's no way around it. I know that discussion is really heavy and deep for a lot of people, because you have a lot of men who want to be responsible. I have a situation. My son, he took on he has my oldest grandbaby. It was a scenario where she just said, you can't see him. And I'm like, wait a minute. You see, that to me is where I have issues, because you're taking away, you personally are trying to take away his rights, and that's
right.
Yeah, that's not fair. You want him to financially support you, but you don't want him to see the child, and that's just not cool. Which is, again, back to the whole holding a child hostage. It's not your right as a woman to say that a child's father cannot see him. The only time that I can see that even making sense is when he, the dad is a abuser of some sort, physical, mental, whatever type of a sexual abuser. Then that creates that.
That's a whole different scenario.
Yeah, you cannot.
That's a whole different scenario.
Right. Other than that, you don't have a right to tell any man that he doesn't have rights to his child. So it's just, hey, it's just.
I know situations where there's also a situation, like you said, with my nephew in his situation with your grandbaby. I know situations also where the man, like you said, would do everything that in his power to see and be in his child's life. And this woman would do everything to sabotage the relationship between the father and the child because of how she feels about that man. Mm-hmm. And my thing, I've come across this so many times when me and my husband do our counseling sessions. I always say to the woman, the one-on-one section, my thing is this: you knew before you had this baby with him who he was.
Yes.
You made a decision to have a child with this man.
Right.
So now that the child is here, now you want to disrupt this child's life with being with his father because you're still mad because the relationship didn't work out.
When do you let it go?
Let it go. That's not fair. And they have a lot of women that hold on and do this for years. Another thing that upsets me about women with relationships, when they tell the children based on their feelings negative stuff about the father.
Oh, amen, sister.
That has nothing, that relationship between the father and that child has nothing to do with you.
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing to do with your feelings. Nothing. Let that child decide based on what the father shows him. Mm-hmm. The father will show him who he is. Yes. And that child, let that child make a clear a decision based on the relationship and the experience that he's had with his father, not from you. Right. And women, I'm going to say this because this is one of my, this is one of the things. We have to be accountable for our bullshit.
Oh, yes.
We have to be accountable and take ownership for our bullshit. We come with some shit.
We come with a whole
bunch of stuff and then turn around and play the victim.
Yes.
For example, I'm going to veer off, but I'm going to bring it back.
Go ahead.
If, for example, let's bring it. The man tried to come see his child.
Mm-hmm.
If the woman I've seen a situation, the man come pick up his child, the woman walks the child out and still won't give the child to the man because of whatever retarded reason. Mm-hmm. She puts her hands on the man. If the man responds after she pops him and the man responds to hit, I'm not condoning. First of all, let me make this clear. Let me do the disclaimer. I am not condoning abuse of women in no way, no type of domestic abuse of any kind for men, women, anybody. Okay, anybody. But I'm just giving just a scenario. And if that man, if she's jumping on this man reacts and hits her, then she plays the victim. Mm-hmm. Now you causing all this confusion in front of your child with this man, mm-hmm. and making yourself look crazy. Now you putting everybody in this whole situation. So then we play victim. Then mm-hmm. you play the victim. Mm-hmm. That is not cool. That's what I mean. We have to be accountable for the shit that we start.
Absolutely.
And the stuff that we do.
Absolutely.
Because, honey, let me tell you something. We women, we vindictive.
Ooh.
And we calculating.
Very.
And we know how to get under your skin. But it comes with a level of maturity, too.
It does, and you would hope that over time, an individual would really see the effects that it has on
On
the
the
child,
child.
because at the end of the day, whether you have chosen that individual or whether that individual chose you, you all consciously and you equally made a choice to bring this child. You consciously laid down together. Let me say that.
Absolutely.
And once that child is here, the responsibility is not just on one individual; it's on both. And women, I'm gonna say this, and I need you to hear me. Stop holding these babies accountable. Hostage for your foolishness, because regardless of the situation, regardless of whether or not he decided that he wanted to or didn't want to, regardless of whether or not he when I say want to or didn't want to, I mean really wanted a child or didn't want a child. Once the child is here, the only thing that matters at that point, whether you choose that relationship or not, is that child. That's the only thing that happens. So you've got to do better. And like Nduri was saying, we come with so much stuff. It's always
baggage.
Should he be financially responsible for his child?
Absolutely.
But does that mean if he's not responsible financially for his child, he cannot see his child?
That's a no-no. That's a no-no. Because they get into situations too. They get into financial situations, sometimes financial hardships. And you have to make sure you keep the line. The important thing is to keep the lines of communication open between the two of you for that child.
Absolutely. That's
the most important thing. Absolutely. Yes. And a lot of women don't get that. They continue to make that about them. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, and like we both said, like you said, AP, the child suffers. Yes. The child suffers. They're not a payday cash loan.
Right.
You can't go there and say, I'm going on and you bring me $500 a day for a visit, for an hour visit with your child.
Like somebody just said, when the check clears, you'll see the child. That is not cool.
Speaking of that,
funny, but it ain't cool.
But it's not cool. Speaking of that, did you see the video with the girl with the DNA test?
Oh my God, that's circulating on Instagram. Okay, so there is a video out there on Instagram where apparently this couple has a 3-year-old daughter, and they were celebrating her 3rd birthday. And after the party, the young lady, the mother, is in the kitchen. She's cleaning up, and the father comes in with a gift, and he gives her a gift, and it's in a bag. She's like, oh, a gift for me, very excited and all kinds of stuff. And then as she's pulling out the gift, first thing was a bottle of wine. Second thing was a bag, in a bag. And then the last bag was an envelope. And in that envelope, there was a folded piece of paper. And she pulls the paper out, and throughout the course of this, she's saying, oh, are these the earrings that I've been wanting? And, I've been wanting those. And then at the end, she realizes it's not the earrings. She said, well, is this the trip to Dubai? I've been wanting to go to Dubai because it's now a piece of paper. So
I thought it was divorce papers.
I did too. I had no clue what this man was doing. And then all of a sudden, she pulls the paper out, and it's a paternity test. And on the paternity test, it states that
you are not the father.
You are not
the father.
Oh my God. And the first thought that I had was, why wait 3 years?
Why wait 3 years?
Because he stated that he thought that. And I'm like, and then the second thought was the child. Because
the child.
Once again, that child is affected by the whole thing, because you have now 3 years later, you've done a paternity test, and you are now telling this woman that you loved that she and her child has to leave your home. Like that.
In what, 30 days or 90 days or something?
I thought he said, yeah, I guess. I thought he said by the weekend. I don't know. I was just like, because I was so blown away by the way that happened. And that baby has formed, she's 3. She's formed a
She's
bond with this man.
3. I was like, why now and why that way?
Isn't that crazy? Why now?
And why that way though? Why did
Right.
you
Why did you choose
do
the
it that
social,
way?
yeah, on a social media site? Like you're recording this whole incident and that's devastating for anyone.
But don't you
And
have some type of sensitivity for that child?
for the
Because
child.
for the child, that's her mother at the end of the day. And you should
Right.
still have some level of sensitivity
Isn't that crazy?
concerning that for you to do it that way. So, and I was like she said, why now? Why are
Yeah.
you doing it like this? Like, why now?
Why did
And
you wait? Why, please for me, answer, why did you wait why 3 years? Why? Because if you suspected that, typically a man who suspects that a child is not theirs, they insist on it. It's a conversation daily.
soon as that
And
baby pop out,
yes, and they want to know immediately, is this my child? So to wait, if you suspected that 3 years ago, to wait and do it now is just cruel. I mean, and
I
then
think so.
where's the compassion for the child? Did you not love the child? Because even in those cases, I mean, men choose women with children all the time. You're reacting off of your pain as opposed to doing the right, right by her. Because if you loved her, I can understand the frustration, the pain, the betrayal that you felt. But if you loved her and you loved that child, why now?
It's almost like he wanted a way out. It's almost like he
That's
used that in his.
what it feels
He
like.
kept that in his arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then he used that as an excuse to get out. And I think that's what he did. Like he wanted to end the relationship, and he held that. But it's still cruel.
Yes.
Even if he did that, that's a very cruel way to do something. Oh my God, the thunder! It is storming outside. Yeah, it's storming outside like a little roll. But it was absolutely cruel for him to do that. Um, that's
That poor
that's
child, though. But see, that goes
look,
back.
that's effed up.
That's effed up. Oh my
Effed
God.
up
But
big
it
time.
goes back to what we were saying, just the whole topic of, that's the stuff that's all the stuff. I look at everything that's going on in the world right now, and I'm compassionate for people. And my kids always tell me I'm Captain Save-A, what. And so
Save a hoe.
you too. You tell me that too. I just have compassion for people. And to me, it is just so cruel to be in a situation where we are, as adults, we're really damaging our kids. We're not just damaging our children, we're damaging our culture. Like everything that we do, look at my daughter's on here talking about she is dying laughing. That's not funny. That's not funny.
Lexi, somebody could have to confirm. Somebody had to confirm.
But yeah, I feel like we have got to become better at making sure that we take care of our, we always talk about tribes and how you and I are always talking about it takes a village to raise children, and it really does. And if we don't start doing the right thing, just period, like we've got to do better. We've got to do a better job as a culture. We've got to do better as Black men and women. We've got to do better. Once a child is here, they're here. And what you implant in them, the seed what you plant in them is what grows. And that's why you have so many issues with, women with issues with their fathers and relationships. If they don't have an example of one, then they don't know what it is, like how a man is supposed to treat a woman. If a boy doesn't have an example of a mother in his life because the father is
Great point.
we have got to do better by our own. Period. Yes, we all get into situations.
Collectively as a community,
yes,
we need to hold each other responsible. As a community, I totally agree with that. Because let's like to go back to what you said. You have a girl, you have a guy. you got the ecosystem in the middle,
Mhm.
the environment. Everything that goes on in his environment affects him. Everything goes on in environment affects her. If let's say she comes from a two-parent household, he doesn't. No, I'm
Mhm.
gonna do better. They both come from a single-parent household. They get together, they try to have a relationship, they have a child.
Mhm.
Neither one of them has had any type of example of what a relationship looks like, and as far as and as well as bringing a child into the mix,
Mhm.
and that's caused the breakdown in the family unit. Now,
Mhm.
on the flip side, even with that breakdown with him, they both coming from a single parent household, and let's say that the mother or the dad's not involved, you would think that you would have, going back to community, that we would have a community in place to support these young
Mhm.
people
Mhm.
and have women, we call them
The elders, yes.
the elders on the men's side and the women's side, that we would have elders in the community that these children respect, because that's another thing that's missing in our community with the young people when it comes to the elder.
Mhm.
Respect, because we come with experience. It's not that we preaching to you.
Mhm.
We going from our experience, and we may see you going down a different road,
Mhm.
or harming yourself, or doing something that can become harmful, or something that you will regret later on down the line. If we see that and we try to steer you or try to give you some type of out advice, don't,
Right.
once again, you don't have to take it, but we pull your coat chain. So
Yes.
if you have mature people around these children who could pull their coat chain and get together collectively and say, hey, y'all going about it the wrong way, let us support you in going into a better direction with this.
Mhm.
And I think our community is lacking that, because I remember coming up as a kid, I was the latchkey kid. But
Mhm.
the reason why it was fine, because we lived in a community to where when I come home, I open the door, throw my books, I go across the street by Miss Germain house, or I'll go by Miss Cheryl house, and I ate,
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
did my homework,
Mhm.
I played outside.
Mhm.
If I did something wrong, Miss Jermaine, Miss Cheryl, Miss Shirley, they're going to correct me. And
Yes.
when I get home, my mom and my dad are going to correct me.
Yes.
So we looked out for each other. That's missing.
And that is such a great point, because my brother and I were latchkey kids as well. My mother worked, and when she would come home, I mean, there was, first of all, there was nothing that we couldn't do that wasn't aware of, because there were others around us, like you say, that village that was around us. And trust me, my village was strong and full of strong Black women who, when even in the absence of a father who made sure that I understood the importance of a man. That is the
Right.
problem with a lot of the young people and the single, you've got so many people girls especially, who don't understand the importance of a man,
Ooh, girl,
and
say that, say that.
it's like there are things that you cannot, like there is a purpose for him, just as there is a purpose for us. And I feel like because we've gotten away from that community thing, we are just no wonder Corona's here.
Well, damn, Rona had to come through to get some stuff in the water.
God has to put things back in order.
But one thing I did say, since you mentioned Corona, a lot of families have been doing a lot of different things, and they've been doing. If you see that, me and my daughters had our little shenanigans on
Mhm.
some of the videos that we put together, and everything. So it did. I think it did make people have to confront um, issues that may be going on between a husband and wife, or
Mhm.
even a husband and wife trying to take care or handle maybe a child who may have been going through some difficulties, and it made them slow down to, you know, confront those challenges and
Yes.
face them and have the hard discussions concerning their family. And I just think that in that instance, yeah, that's the beauty of
Mhm.
the pandemic.
Mhm. Mhm.
Even though it is also what it is, some darkness. I mean, I don't know if that's not the word, but there is some other things associated with this thing, with the people with the illness and all that stuff like that. But the beauty, there's something beautiful came out, and a
That
lot of
came
people
out.
came
Yeah.
together. A lot of people came together, children and families started doing a little more things together. They started being creative, like with the videos. You see a lot of creativity, a lot of creative videos online and everything like that. So, yeah, I, I 100% agree that, oh, before I get this train of thought, lose it, because we have them senior moments.
Mm-hmm.
We women, mature women, there's a lot of young women that's watching us. And if we out here running around, hold please, my battery's saying that it's kind of low.
How you
But
gonna have your charger?
you know what? Shh, shh.
Mine is plugged in.
It's just a mishap. Production team, I need help.
You
But
know.
look, production team, but we as women have to be better
No.
in how we conduct ourselves
Mm-hmm.
with these young women, because how are the young women gonna know which way to go if we out here misbehaving and conducting ourselves acting badly, like for example 50-year-old women on TV fighting
Fighting about
fighting
what? What are we fighting about?
and
'Cause-
with this
and
false
it,
with this image, do something with this false image or whatever it is that they're doing. Is just not, it's not cool at
not
all.
at all. Not at all. Not at all. I totally agree.
Excuse me, audience, I'm so sorry.
No, honey, it's all good. All the technical difficulties I have had, I'm pretty sure we're good. I'm pretty sure we're good. But
We are very, very good.
yeah, I agree. I think I think that's a really good. We could actually
No, don't hold
that's
it.
a really good holding spot to just kind of end our discussion. But I think too that I agree. I feel like as women, we've got to from woman to woman coming into the screen, woman to woman, we have got to do better. And
We have to do better.
The reality of it is this. You may not like the situation you got yourself in with that man, but you need to be responsible too and make sure that you are allowing that child, that father, to have a place in that child's life, period.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. I'm sorry if you see a hand in front of the thing. I apologize.
no, you're fine. But that is what has got to be done as women, you know. And
I totally agree.
You're right. So as women, we have to set the example for all of the young women coming up. And look, young people, we know that this is a different generation. We don't all see things the same. But as Nduri said, we bring wisdom to
An experience.
and experience. You know, it's the experience. We have life experience. And we're going to stop preaching because we have a little segment that we do towards the end. And I need to know, Miss Nduri,
What I'm whining about?
are you whining about? What are you
What I'm whining about today?
What you whining about? What Wait, where you whining? What you whining about, girl? What are you whining about? Tell me what you're
Okay,
about.
so first of all,
not your wine, because I want to know.
that's what I'm getting ready to do.
Okay.
Oh Lord, child, I'm ready for you, AP. I'm ready for you today, because let me explain something to you. So what we have here is a blue muscatel.
Okay.
Is a dessert wine.
Yes.
Is a dessert wine, and it pairs well with McGee Sweet Trees lemon cake.
There you go. Look, there's a plug. I know my grandma will be happy about that, honey.
So it pairs well with desserts. More on the lighter side desserts, nothing heavy. You wouldn't pair with a chocolate cake.
Okay.
But if you want to do like a light fruits or something like that, it pairs very, very well with that. And it also pairs well with McGee Sweet Trees lemon cake.
There you go.
Good.
You did good.
Not Angela Pearson.
And there you go, honey. I'm drinking Old Soul. It's a Pinot Noir. And for everybody that knows me, I'm a wine drinker. I love wine. This is a red wine. Pinot Noirs are my favorite red wines. This particular wine pairs really good with pork. I'm not a pork eater, but it does pair well with pork and actually salmon. A good old salad and salmon. It pairs really good with that. So that is what I'm drinking today. Oh, so put your bottle up so we can see your bottle. We need to see the name. Oh, so it can
Blue
be
Muscatel. I don't know if you can see it, but it's Blue Muscatel. So anybody on the line, y'all want to share? Y'all want to share with us what y'all whining about?
What are you whining about? Tell us what you're whining about, and what are you whining about today, girl? What are you whining about?
What y'all whining about, y'all? What y'all whining about? I can tell you nothing that I'm whining about. Why in the hell every time I go look for my wine glasses, they broke up because these grown people in my house.
That's what you're whining about today.
These people in my house are breaking my glasses.
You know, it's so funny because last week you was whining. What were you whining about? I mean, 2 weeks ago you were whining about. What were you whining about? They didn't tell you about.
Huh?
What were you whining about last week?
Menopause.
Okay, so that's what I'm whining about this week. Let me tell you something about this stuff right here. Okay, I have been having hot flashes all week to the point where I literally have been walking around in the nude because I can't take it no more. That is the only way that I can relieve myself. I told my daughter, I said, I got sweat all on my head. Like I am literally about to pass out because this little thing called menopause, y'all can have that for real.
It's a whole bunch.
So tell me what you're whining about. I see somebody on here named Miss Pretzel Nicole. What you whining about today? Can you share with me what you whining about? Miss Mika P, what you whining about today? Tell me, Bree, what you whining about today? Can y'all share with us what y'all whining about? Cause
I'm gonna tell you one thing. I ain't whining why not because it's Lemon Cake from McGee Sweet Trees.
You're so stupid.
At McGee Sweet Trees on Instagram. It's delicious.
Oh gosh. We really appreciate you all allowing us to come into your home and just have conversations, a candid conversation with you. I am Angela D. Peterson. I am a motivational speaker. I am a professional life coach. I am certified life coach. I am an entrepreneur as well. As Induri stated, I have a consulting firm. If you need help with your business, please reach out. The name of my company is Avion Business Consulting. My daughter and I are partnered in a candy store. We have a online candy store called Candy Cravings. We're revamping the website, but you can find us online. And who are you? Oh,
because y'all, I'm gonna tell you.
You cut off, ma'am.
I am. I'm a spiritual life relationship coach. I have a degree in counseling, and I'm also an entrepreneur. The name of me and my husband bakery is McGee Sweet Treats. Go ahead and check us out on IG, on Instagram. I also have a YouTube channel, and the name of the YouTube channel is Yellow Butterfly Holistic Cafe. I know it's long, but you'll get it as you go and look at it. So go ahead on, check us out. Hey, we finished?
No, and together we are two girlfriends having candid conversations, providing some mind, body, and soul conversations to you.
Having a fun time, unwinding and relaxing. Absolutely. Yes. How much time we got?
We got just 59 seconds. So we really appreciate y'all letting us come into your home and have conversations with you today.
Hey, Mama, these babies.
Or join us every other Friday. So not next Friday, but the next Friday. We'll be on live again, having some, whatever you guys want to talk about. Please share with us. Put it in the comments. We are more than willing to have any conversations that you put out there. We want to give you our perspective on it. We really appreciate your support. And